And so we are now going to work on animation. And the way animation works is that we need dummy helpers that will actually drive the animation. The reason why we use dummy helpers is that you can come across every kind of problem when animating objects by themselves. Especially if you try and animate the scale of an object, you can get to a point where the object becomes skewed as it's animated in scale. Okay, so let's work on the animation. Let's see, we can get rid of that box and create a new one. Okay, all right. Now these boxes should not be animated, but first let's just adjust its properties like that. You may want to change its color quickly, just so that it's easy to pick up. Okay, right click and then select object properties, turn off renderable so that this object does not get rendered, and then click OK. All right, then we're going to go to the helpers, that icon there with the measuring tape, and select point. Okay, then in the options here, please make sure you check all these options. As you can see, I've done already, and draw one out in the viewport, and then quickly go to the modify tab and adjust its size. Okay, and then we're going to align it to this box. So we're aligning it on the X, Y, and Z position, and it's along the pivot point. And zoom extend selected. Sorry. The reason why we're aligning this box, the dummy, to the box is that we want to link the box to the dummy so that everything the dummy does, the box will follow. That way we have a visual representation of exactly what is going on. Okay, so that is the whole purpose of the box, is just visual representation. Okay, so let's go ahead and rename these dummies here. For instance, this one here, we're going to call this animate rotate up. Okay, so this will animate the object rotating upwards. Okay, then let's quickly select the box, and then we are going to link it to the dummy. Okay, let's select it, and then we click on this little chain icon here, select and link, and then we click on select by name, and we click, of course, the animate rotate up, so that the box now becomes linked to the dummy, and then click link. There we go. You can see, of course, it glows white in color. So that means if you now pick the dummy, of course, the box will follow anywhere it goes. You see that? Okay, great stuff. All right. And of course, you can see I still have my angle snap toggle turned on. That way I get accurate values. Okay. Then please select the box. Call this box dummy. Okay. Select it along with select the box along with its parent, which is the animate rotate dummy. Click OK. We need to duplicate them across. So select the move button, and then we hold shift and we move them across. Okay. And then we need to make them copies, or if this doesn't work, you can still go to tools and array. Okay. We need about, let's just reset things quickly. We need to make them copies, and we just need 8 of them, and click preview. And then we're going to move them along the x-axis. Okay. And click OK. All right. So now, if you select, for instance, that particular dummy over there, there we go, it drives that box only. Okay. So let's rename them quick. So this one will be animate rotate down. Okay. Next one, sorry. This one will animate the rotation sideways. So rename this, of course, as animate rotate sideways. Okay. The names, of course, you can choose your own names, but I'm just choosing names that are meaningful. Okay. Because then you know it animates and it rotates, and in which direction it rotates. Okay. This one is going to animate in a more dynamic way. So animate, rotate, dynamic. Okay. The next one, this one will be animate, move. Forward, move, let's see. Forward and back. So this will move forward and back, okay? Or rather move front. It's a shorter word, okay? Front and back, all right? This one will be animate, move sideways. So in case you want, of course, to animate something going sideways. Then this one here will be animate, jump. This will just animate an object jumping up or down. And then lastly, this one will be animate tile. Okay, so that will control the animation of tiles. Okay, let's just adjust this object here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, then we're just going to quickly adjust this object's dimensions so that it more or less looks like a tile for us. Okay, so that when we manipulate it, we know exactly what it will do. Okay, then what about this one here? It's being driven by the jump, so also just bring it down, maybe 0.5 by 0.5. It just needs to look like a tile, that one, a square tile. This one, okay, just bring down its height. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, and there's more moving back and forth. Okay, this one will control the rotation, so these are fine. Okay, of course, don't forget to save your file. Okay, the first thing we're going to work on is the animation of the tiles on the floor. All right, but before that can happen, we need to adjust the pivot points. And what is a pivot point? Well, it's the point from which the object rotates or does anything. For instance, if you select this tile and you turn on rotation, observe what will happen if you try to rotate it. Of course, it rotates from this central point. You see, if you rotate it sideways, again, it's rotating from its center. Okay, we need the tile to rotate from its edge over there. Okay, so to do that, we need to select all the tiles and change the pivot points at once. So click on the select by name button and we are going to search for tile. Okay, then move the mouse until you get to the very first tile. Okay, and then hold shift and move the mouse all the way to the last one and click OK. And then we go to the hierarchy panel, affect pivot only. So you can see we've picked up every pivot point of every tile that we must change. So from the top view, we must move the tile. Yeah, we are going to move the tile all the way. I mean, not the tile, I mean the pivot point all the way to the edge there. That is from where we want the tiles to animate. There we go. So now we've changed it. Once we are done, we click again on affect pivot only. So that now, if you try to rotate this tile, what will happen? Aha, there we go. Now it obeys the laws and it rotates exactly from that side. And if you had to rotate it this way, okay, it's still rotating, of course, from that side. Okay, that's great. And so let's go ahead and create the animation of the tile, okay? So let's select that object there, that box, and of course, affect pivot only. We need to also change its pivot point quickly so that it will behave like the tile will do. Mind you, this box here is just for reference only. It will not render, okay? And then we need to align it. So find the align button. It's next to the mirror. Align it to the helper. There we go. It's along the pivot points. Perfect, okay? So pick the helper and move it like that, okay? Now, I've already done a million tests, and so I know what we need to do to get the tiling right, okay? First things first, we have to change the time configuration because we need to determine how long should this entire animation last, okay? So we're going to change the time configuration there. Instead of time display in frames, please change it to minutes and seconds. Let's go for, I think, 10 seconds and click OK. All right. And then let's change it back to frames, or maybe 12 seconds actually. Okay. Click rescale time, click OK, and then change it back to frames, and then click on rescale time again. That way we know this will be 12 seconds, but we just want to display it in frames. Okay. So we switch it to frames from minutes and seconds. We switch to frame, click on rescale time, click OK and OK. All right. Now, of course, you can see it shows you a value of up to 370 frames, which is 12 seconds. Okay. Then we're going to turn on auto key. Then we're going to animate the speed at which the tile will come down. Okay. So here's what we can do. At the beginning of the timeline, we set the key on the animate tile object. Okay. Then around frame 20, we set another key there. Okay. And then we are going to go back to the beginning of the timeline at frame 0. We need to rotate this to more or less the direction in which the tile should point. So you can see, of course, you can of course raise it as high as you want, but just for the sake of sanity, we are going to keep ours that low, maybe even lower than that. Okay, great stuff. So if you press play right now, there we go. That's what happens. The tile simply sits down. Okay. Now, here's how you can enhance the animation. While it's up, we are going to right click on the scale button. Right click on that button to bring up these values. Okay. So at the beginning, we want to see nothing. So we are going to change the offset world value here to 0. That way it starts from nothing. You see that? Okay, and then it grows. But then around frame 5, it should already show us something. So let's see. We're going to turn the value on the x-axis to 0, but the y-axis and the z-axis, set them to be 100. That way, there we go. That way, if you press play, there we go. So that way, our object, of course, will already begin to design itself as it's coming out. All right. Okay. And it's at this point that I think it looks like it needs even more tilting upwards, 10 degrees more. Okay. There we go. So if you had to play this, there we go. Okay. So that's what happens at the moment. In fact, let's see. At frame 0, let's click on the scale again. Try to enter here 100 by 100 by 100. Just want to see how high is our object. Let's see, maybe it needs even more, something like that. Okay. All right, and then turn all the values back to 0 again, so that now okay, yeah, that's fine then. All right, then we need to, make sure that you're of course happy with this animation, because we need to apply it to all the tiles. So hence I said, please make sure you are really happy. Maybe at this point, let's turn on key mode toggle. That way we can jump between keyframes. So at this point, let's see. Is it possible maybe to rotate even further? Let's see. Because it looks like it's settling down too quickly for us. Okay, so I think this is much better. So you can turn off the key mode toggle and press play. There we go. So that's much better. Okay, save your file. And so the script you're going to use is called anim transfer keyframe, designed by a genius called Rock and Roll. And if you're watching this Rock and Roll, thank you so much, because this script is so magical. What you need to do is, remember to download this through the download page of this tutorial. I think I've included it in the project files, okay? And I've also included the link to the official site to get it, okay? So we're going to right click and copy the script, and then we go to my computer, and then we go where you've installed 3D Max. Normally it's under C drive, program files, Autodesk. Now it depends on which version you have. I'm running 2016, but the folder structure is the same. So under 2016 or 2014 or 2012 or whichever one you have, under scripts, we are going to right click and paste it here. I've already placed mine here, so I'm just going to paste it here again, okay, because mine is already inserted here. So as I said, if you're on computer, you go to C drive, program files, Autodesk, 3D Max 2014 or whichever version. You see there is also the scripts folder, okay. And again, if you're using Max 2014, of course you can paste it there as well, okay. Perfect. All right, and then we come back here and we turn off auto key. To bring up the script, you can click on scripting, run script. Or if you are using an older version of 3D Max, this menu here is called Max Script. If you can't find it, you just go to the Utilities tab. There is Max Script. See? Utilities, Max Script, Run Script. So it's the same thing which has been changed here. Okay. And then you just click on Run Script. And of course, you're looking for Anim Transfer Keyframe. Double click that. And of course, the magical script will open. Let me close that window. All right. Here is how this script works. You have to pick the reference being the main object which has animation, and then you pick the children which will inherit all those keyframe animations. Okay. So we are going to do it, of course, first with the tiles. So we pick the reference. The reference we're looking for, of course, is this dummy here. Make sure the name is correct or else you'll get the wrong stuff. So you can see that I got the wrong one. So I'm going to try and pick again. There we go. So it's the animate tile. It has updated properly. Okay. Next, we have to pick up all the tiles. So here's what we do. We're going to click on select by name. Type in tile. Select the first one and then hold shift and select the last one and click OK. In order for us to be able to pick up the tiles easily, we are going to create what we call a name selection set for them. That way they can be picked up from a name drop down. So to access it, there is the icon there. It's called Edit Name Selection Set button. It starts 2 brackets with the ABC. Click on it, and then we click on this these 2 brackets with the sun next to them to create a new set and call this, of course, tiles. Okay. Now you can close it, and then from now on, if you select anything else, you can just select all the tiles from the drop down. You see, just like that, they all get picked up. Okay. Now please save your file before anything happens. So once again, this is what has happened. We pick the reference, which is our dummy, and then we have to select the tiles now. There we go. They can be easily picked up from the drop down. And just like that, we then click transfer. Now, 3D Max is going to take its time and go through each of the objects we've picked up and then transfer the animation keyframes to them. Okay, so just give it a few seconds and then it will be ready. Okay, and of course, the more objects you have, the longer it may take. There we go, it's done. Now, what has happened? If you scrub through the timeline now and you go back to frame 0, you see what is happening now? Guess what? All the tiles are now carrying the animation of the helper. Look at that, eh? They're doing exactly what the helper's done, and of course, that is what we needed them to do. If you press play, there we go. Every tile obeys the rules, and guess what? Every tile has got keyframes, just like just like the animate tile helper which we had created. Okay, that was step one. Now I've closed my script by mistake, so I just go to the utilities tab, or scripting, run script, or utilities, make script, run scripts, and then yeah, just bring up the animate transfer keyframe again. I've got too many of them. Let me just bring up one only. Okay. All right. So now it's all good, but guess what? They're all doing the same things at the same time. We need more dynamism. So to create dynamism, these tiles must animate after one another. Okay. Now, luckily, as I said, Mr. Rock and Roll thought about it and he made sure he included it in this brilliant free script of his. So we're going to select all the tiles because they are the objects which you need to affect. Then we come down under move keys. Please change the number here. Instead of 0, make it maybe 5. And then click shift. Okay. What this means is that it's going to select every object that we've picked up, and then it's going to move their keyframes 5 frames ahead of time. All right. And then it's calculating again. Give it a few seconds, and then it will show us, of course, exactly what it has done. Okay. There we go. It's done now. Now you see the keyframes are more spread apart. Okay. If you go to start and then press play now, there we go. You see, your tiles are there, and guess what? Now they animate, of course, one after the other. You see that? Wonderful. So you see, of course, what it's doing if you were to view it from here. Yeah, there we go. So you see, of course, the tiles are really behaving like the way one would wish them to behave. Okay, so it's wonderful. But there's just one problem, of course. It's too slow, and even by the time our animation is supposed to be done, it's still busy. Okay, so we need to speed it up. So let's select our tiles again from the drop down. Luckily, we can undo what it has done. To do that, we have to enter a negative value of what we had just given it. So instead of 5, we'll enter the -5 and click shift again. So it's going to go through all the objects and then put them back the way they were before we had shifted them off by 5 frames. Okay. Again, give it a few seconds to calculate it. There we go. They are back. Now you see the keyframes are all stacked there. This is how they were before. Okay. So as I said, I've done a lot of tests before, so I know which value will work for us. So instead of -5, we're just going to enter a value of 2. Okay. So that means we are going to shift each of these keyframes here 2 keyframes ahead of time. Sorry, not 2, but 1. Okay. We're just going to shift it by 1 frame and then click shift. And there we go. It has now offset them by 1 frames. When you press play now, there we go. Now, things happen much quickly. Okay. Look at that. There we go. Of course, now we have much more faster motion. Okay. That's what we needed. All right. Great stuff. So that was for the tiles. Okay. Then let's focus now on the rotation upwards. All right. Here's what we can do. Let me just move our script to the side there. So turn on auto key. Let's go to frame 20. Again, we go to frame 20 because I've done a couple of tests and making sure that animations happen by frame 20 seems to be decent, okay? Although, of course, you can decide whether you want things to happen at frame 40 or wherever you see fit, okay? So we're going to turn on auto key there to create a keyframe for it. Let's jump to this point in time, okay? At the beginning, so at the beginning, we're going to rotate it, of course, from being down, which is 90 degrees. Okay, you can see, of course, how the value updates there. Of course, if you press play, there we go. That is all that happens, okay? And of course, at the beginning, we don't want to see the object. So, right-click on the scaling button and change the values here to zeros for the scale. There we go. And then of course by frame 5 we need, let's see, yeah, we need zero values on the z-axis, but 100% on the z and on the y and x-axis. There we go. So that what happens is the following: the object emerges and then flips upwards. Okay, there we go. That's what we need. Okay, there we go. Okay, then we continue work on this one here. Yeah, rotate downwards. So frame 20 is what will be final, so we click on the create key there, and then now this time we are going to rotate, of course, all the way to 180. Okay. No, I think this is the wrong way. Let's see. So let's delete that last keyframes, please. Let's jump to the beginning and create the key there. Then jump to frame 20. Now, this is where, of course, it must go all the way down to 180. Turn off auto key and please move the dummy out of the ground like that, okay? So it will start like that and then go all the way down. There we go, okay. All right, so again, auto key, scale begins at 0, and after 5 frames, let's see what needs to be changed. Well, yeah, this can be 100. Let's see, 100, but this must be 0, okay. So what happens? There we go, okay. So you see, of course, what will happen, it will start from nothing, and then it stretches out, and then it grows properly. There we go. So it's basically doing the opposite of that one, okay? That is what we needed. Perfect, okay? Next one is this one here. This will rotate sideways, all right? So again, frame 20, set a key, go to the beginning. Now, this one will happen in the following way. We will rotate from this way, which is 90 degrees, and then turn like that, okay? But then, of course, we need to scale. So we're going to change the scale here to 0. And then by frame 5, I mean, let's see. Yeah, this needs to be 100. This must be 0. And this must be 100, okay? That way it looks like that, okay? So it grows like that. And then it gives us depth. There we go. That's what we need, okay? Yeah, you see that, eh? Beautiful, okay. Great stuff. Then let's work on this one here, the rotation dynamic. Again, jump to frame 20, set the key there. Then let's go to the beginning. It's going to rotate like that, but also like that. So let's see what we'll have. There we go, okay? Maybe even rotate it some more, like that. Okay, so that it's really, that's why we call it dynamic, because of course its rotation is a bit much more loose. Okay, now the beginning, of course, the scale must be set to zeros, and at frame 5, let's see what must grow. Yeah, this must grow to 100. Yes, this must also grow to 100 units. And this must be turned to 0. Okay, there we go. So it starts from nothing and then it grows. There we go. That's exactly what we needed. Okay, perfect. What about this one here? Well, this will move forward and back as the name suggests. So let's go to frame 20. Create a key for it. Let's go to the beginning and move it back. And then let's go to frame, maybe frame 12 or so. Okay, actually, let's see. Okay, at frame 0 it starts like that. Let's set the scales, of course, to 0. And then at frame 5, we need to increase things, of course, such as what? Yeah, the x value, push it to 100. Okay, this must be left at 0 and this must be also 100. Okay, so it will look like that. Okay, and then at frame 14 or 15 we are going to move it forwards. You see that? So this is what will happen. There we go. Okay, so basically the object appears and then it appears while scaling and then it's moving also itself forwards. Okay, so it depends on you. You may want to push it even further. Okay, for more drama. There we go. Okay, great stuff. Okay, beautiful. All right, so let's do this. Let's also work on this one, of course. So again, frame 20, create a key. Let's go to the beginning and scale and 0. Okay, and then of course we jump to frame 5. Let's see, that can be set to at 100. That stays at 0 and that is 100. Okay. Okay, now remember this one needs to move sideways. Okay, so we're going to move to frame 15 and move it to the side. Okay. All right, so yeah, you can roughly see, of course, what it does. It scales up and then it goes sideways. Okay. Next one is this one here. This one will jump. Okay. Again, frame 20, create a key. Let's go to the beginning of the timeline. Create a key as well and scale it all the way to 0. Okay. Then, halfway through the animation, around frame 10, it's going to jump. Like that. Okay. So when you press play, there we go. It just jumps. Like that. Okay, perfect. You can turn off auto key for now. So you can see, of course, basically what we've all gotten. Please click on the time configuration and change the time display speed, playback speed to a quarter. Click OK. It's just to see it in slow motion, all right? So this is what we've done. Let me close this. Okay. So these are the keys we've basically prepared. There we go. Okay. So you can adjust things, you can do all that you want to do. Great stuff, okay? So this looks decent, all right? And mind you, please finalize your keyframes before we proceed because you will be able to change them later on once you've applied to objects, but you'll have to apply them to each individual object. So hence I said, make sure you're happy with the timings of your animations, all right, before we proceed, okay? Okay, now let's begin the animation by animating the walls, okay? Starting with this object here, that island, okay? Turn on auto key and yeah, just go to frame 20. And before we animate, actually, let's go to the hierarchy panel, affect pivot only. We want this pivot point to be positioned where it will need to be. And I think, let's see, I think it needs to be around here. Okay. All right. Then turn on auto key again. And we're going to scale it. Set a keyframe for it at frame 20. Let's jump to the beginning of the timeline and then scale it, of course, to absolute 0. Okay, so that's what will happen so far. But then at frame 5, we want to scale things a bit. So this must grow. So set this to 100. And then what about this one here? No, this must be set at 0. And this must also be 100. That way, when it begins, it looks like that. So it starts from nothing. And then a plane appears, which then grows in length. So that's what we need for that. Okay. Brilliant. So that was for that one. What about this one? Well, also turn off auto key and then affect pivot only. Let's see, where does it need to be animated from? Well, let's see. yeah, let's set it to be somewhere there. Okay. All right. Turn off the affect pivot only and then turn on auto key. Let's go to frame 20 and create a key for it there. Now let's see what needs to happen with this one. Okay, I think this one actually, let's see. Oh yeah, okay, it's fine. No. I think let's create a key here, but turn off auto key. I think this one's pivot point must really be somewhere on the edge there. Because I think it will look best if it grows from the side there. So turn on auto key, jump to frame 20. Sorry. Yeah. Let's jump to the beginning. Must start at 0. And then of course frame 5. Yeah, frame 5, what needs to grow? Well, that needs to grow, so that must be 100. Yes, that also needs to grow at 100, and this must stay at 0. Okay, so that when you press play, there we go. Okay. If you are to play this back in real time, so click on the time configuration button, change it from speed of 1/4 to 1. Click rescale time, okay, and okay. If you were to press play, there we go. You see how fast that will happen. All right. Okay. So you can decide, of course, how slow you want it to be. Maybe you want it to be more gentle. So we're just going to move these keyframes here forwards in time. The same with that one as well. Okay. So press play. Okay, that's fine. I think this one needs to be slowed down a bit more. Okay, great stuff. Then let's go on to the walls. Starting with these orange walls, okay? All right. Okay, so please select the wall. And let's see. Yeah, it should be animated up to frame, I'm not sure which frame. Okay, let's just assume around frame 60. Okay, so select that wall and create a key for it. And then this one, we're going to scale it. So it's going to start the scaling at 0. And then as it comes down around frame 15, let's see what needs to grow. Well, that needs to grow, so that can be 100. Yes, that also needs to grow, so also set it at 100, but that must be set at 0. Okay, that way, this is what will happen. There we go. So you see, of course, how the wall will drip down. Okay, maybe it's a bit too slow, so just move its keyframe like that. Okay, great stuff. Great, okay. So that was that. What about this one here? Let's see. Again, set key. And yeah, start it from nothing. Around frame 14 or 15. Begin to scale things. Let's see. That must be 0. This must be 100. And 100. Ah, no, sorry. This must be 0. This must be 100. Nah. Okay, I'm not sure which one must grow. Let's see. It's all up to you, of course, to decide the order in which they come. Okay, there we go. This must be 0. And that must be 100. Okay. There we go. Okay, perfect. So it drips down nicely now. And then I think this one here needs to be broken up. No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So let's work on this one here. Turn on auto key. And set key. Go to the beginning of the timeline. Scale everything to 0. And around frame 20 maybe. Yeah, that must be grown to 100 or even more, because you can see it needs to be wide enough. What about this? Well, this must be 100 as well, but that must be 0. That way it starts like that, okay? So when you press play, there we go. That is what will happen, okay? Great stuff, okay? So those were those walls. What about these other ones which are supposed to come later on? Well, let's see. Set a key for this one there. Then around which frame? 60 perhaps, or 65. Set another key. At the beginning, everything must be 0. Okay. But I think, let me see. Turn off auto key. I think we need to separate these two just to make more drama. So select that part of it and detach. Okay. Call this wall animated 008 or whichever number it might be that you want. Okay. Then select it again. Go to hierarchy panel, affect pivot only. Just move it to where it needs to be. Okay. Perfect. All right. So again, around frame maybe 25, scaling must be 0 there, and then the rest can be 100 by 100. Perfect. There we go. So it drips nicely on the orange wall like that. Okay, perfect. Let's do, of course, the same for this one here. So you choose wherever you want the animations to take place. Okay. All right, so it starts at 0, of course, as well. And then around here, let's see what needs to grow. Yeah, this must be 100. That also must be 100. The idea is that everything must always start from 0, so that it really looks like there was nothing there before. You see, that is how the animations basically will start on the wall, as if there's nothing there. And then when we press play, there we go. Of course, things then happen. Okay. Then I'm going to shift these keyframes here, just so that they don't all come down at the same time. There we go. So you'll notice now, of course, some of the orange walls appear before the others. There we go. That's the kind of dynamism we wanted. Okay. This one also, of course, needs the same kind of animations. Create a key. Create another key there, and beginning at 0. And then around here, that must be 0. This must be 100, 100. Okay. So again, okay. Maybe it can come on later. Let me see, even later. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's work also on that one, of course. Create a keyframe there, and another key somewhere there. Jump to the first key and scale it to 0, of course, and then jump somewhere in the middle. This must be 0, 100, 100. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Then, of course, this one here. Create a key as well. And create a key. Starts at 0. And then that must be 0 because it's the height. The rest can be 100. Perfect. In fact, this can be wider than 100 like that. Okay. So it can come on later. Okay. All right. Okay, so after having done that, let's work on the top counter there. And let's see. We're going to go to the affect pivot only and change, of course, its pivot point. And let's adjust it accordingly. And it looks like it. Let it start next to where the fridge is. That's where more or less where this object begins, actually. Okay. So I don't know if you can observe, of course. So it's at that corner. That's fine. And so let's see which animation we may want to give it. Okay. I think this one here, the one which is rotating downwards, I think this could work for this animation. Or maybe not. No. This rotates it all the way down. Okay. We don't need that one. So instead, okay, I think it's this one here. Moving backwards and forwards, okay? By the way, please save your file before you proceed, because the next step I'm about to show you, might actually ruin your scene. So please save your files right now before anything goes wrong, okay?